Good afternoon, I'm Macy Marie. First at 4, we're learning more about a relationship in southern Kentucky that ended in murder. Police say Nicholas Rucker shot and killed his girlfriend, Vicki Connor. Rucker then ran off and was captured more than a month later for the crime. WYMT's Phil Pendleton talked to Connor's family members who say they feared something like this was going to happen.
Nicholas Rucker will be answering to murder and multiple other charges. He remains in the Knox County Jail, a place that Vicki Connor's family says they are relieved he is finally in, after they say they lived much of the last 45 days or so in fear, knowing that he was still on the run.
You know, everybody's safe now. The kids can feel safe again. We're okay.
Ashley Burke says her 3 children did not want to go outside when Nicholas Rucker was on the loose. Rucker is accused of killing Burke's mother, Vicki Connor, inside a home on Kentucky 1064 on May 22nd. Police say Rucker took off afterwards and was not found until a tipster spotted him in a Corbin neighborhood early Thursday morning. Burke says Rucker and her mother had a rocky relationship, but that Connor refused to leave him for good, as she always wanted to see the good in everyone.
Everybody was their own person. She didn't judge anybody it didn't matter if you were running a big company or if you were working at McDonald's.
Ashley Burke says they're still trying to figure out the motive behind the deadly shooting. Kentucky State Police say they are still investigating all of that as well. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
A deadly 4th of July in Roswell, Georgia, after police say an officer shot and killed a man who attacked him at a gas station. Police say the officer was getting coffee at a Shell station around 8:30 a.m. when he noticed the store clerk arguing with a guy who he says did not pay for something. The officer went to break up the fight, but he says the man started hitting him with something, so he tased him. The attacker did not back down, so the officer says he pulled out his gun and shot the man. He died later at the hospital. The owner of the store says his employee watched the whole thing happen.
He said he opened the shirts and he has a big stick inside the pants. He pulled it out and started hitting the officer.
The officer also had to go to the hospital with a hurt arm. Police are still investigating right now.
Well, most of us finally getting a break from those rain chances this afternoon. We're not seeing much of those starting to pop up. We were dealing with some patchy fog earlier today. We'll go ahead and take a look at a few of those cameras. If we look at the National Weather Service camera in Jackson, but we saw those clear out pretty quickly. They've seen mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. Those clouds increasing now just a little bit. And even as we look over to Whitesburg, a few clouds here and there, but overall, those mostly sunny skies. But satellite and radar, you can see maybe a few pop-ups here and there, some out west as well, and maybe just across the mountains looking over into parts of Virginia and West Virginia, but most of eastern Kentucky has definitely stayed on the drier side. So as we look at pinpoint Doppler, see those scattered chances out west. We still could see a few pop-ups as we head into the rest of the afternoon hours, but most of us, like I said, getting a nice little break from those rain chances. Those temperatures pretty hot out there. You see the upper 80s to maybe even lower 90s in some spots, showing a 91 in Hazard, 88 over into London, 89 if you're looking up into parts of Ashland. Those dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s. You guys know that's making it feel pretty muggy out there. We're definitely into that oppressive category, a little bit above that as well. So I know a lot of you want to get out this weekend, maybe go out, go fishing, be out on the lake, or maybe by the pool. Well, we're going to start to see those scattered showers and storms return once again, becoming a little bit more widespread as we head into your Saturday and into your Sunday as well. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes. Macy.
All right, thank you, Paige. Parts of downtown Pineville are still being repaired after straight-line winds on Wednesday caused damage to several buildings and homes. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds is in Pineville talking to business owners who say they're having 60 feet of roofing repaired today.
I talked to business owners in downtown Pineville who say the winds that came with Wednesday's storm was something they weren't expecting. Pineville pawn shop owner Sean Fugit says when he saw rain on Wednesday, he heard a crash shortly after. That noise was coming from a 60-foot piece of roof that tumbled off the pawn shop's roof and onto cars and other businesses nearby. Fugit says while he hates to see monetary damage from the storm, he's just glad nobody was injured.
And that was the first thing we really tried to get over there and make sure that nobody was underneath the part of the roof. And after that, everything was sort of calmed down. You could could take a breath.
Fugit says there is work being done outside to repair the roof, but the only damage to the inside was just on one tile, and it was repaired rather quickly. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
And we'll have much more on this story coming up at 5:30. One person is still missing following a boating crash in Alabama last night. Alabama law enforcement agency Marine Patrol says 5 people were injured and 4 of them were taken to a hospital. Police say the crash involved 2 boats and happened on Smith Lake and Rock Creek around 10 p.m. Agencies were out searching for the person but stopped that search around 1 in the morning. They resumed this morning later on, and it's unclear what caused the crash at this time. A 5-year-old boy had to be rescued from a water-filled sewer drain in Evansville, Indiana yesterday. Rescue crews were dispatched late after 9 p.m. and officials say the child was watching fireworks with his family when he fell into the drain. They say the boy remained alert and talked to them throughout the entire rescue. After he was freed from the sewer drain, he was taken to the hospital to be checked out. 2 people jumped out of their 3rd-story window this morning in Portland, Oregon to escape a massive fire. 10 people were inside when it broke out. A dog was also inside the home, but was thrown out of a window and is okay. The 2 people who jumped out were taken to the hospital. Several others were treated for burns. And the cause of the fire has not been determined, but investigators are calling it suspicious. One witness said she saw someone throw something at the apartment. A Southern California city is recovering after the region's strongest earthquake in 20 years. It produced more than 100 aftershocks. A 6.4 earthquake hit Ridgecrest yesterday, and the quake caused damage to roads and cracking them and damaging a local hospital also. Patients had to be taken to other hospitals as a precaution. Tremors were even felt more than 100 miles away. Ridgecrest Mayor Peggy Breeden says they're concerned about more potential damage over the next few days.
You've declared a state of emergency. What does that do for the city?
It allows us to seek services from all the entities, both state and federal, that can help us with the cleanup.
This was one of the largest earthquakes to hit Southern California since the 1994 Northridge earthquake. That quake had a magnitude of 6.7 and left 72 people dead and up to $20 billion in damage. Now, no injuries were reported from yesterday's quake. Heading over to Wall Street on this Friday afternoon, the Dow closes down more than 43 points. A West Virginia coal tycoon and self-made billionaire died yesterday in a helicopter crash in the Bahamas. Self-made billionaire Christopher Klein was among 7 people who died in the crash, and he died just a day before his 62nd birthday. Klein was a native of Beckley, West Virginia. A friend of his says one of his daughters also died. Forbes listed Klein as number 1,281 on its billionaire list with an estimated net worth of $1.8 billion. Klein was 61 years old. And straight ahead on First at 4, heading to the beach this weekend. Many states allow people to drive on beaches, but a community in Florida is reconsidering following some recent incidents.
And rain chances increase as we head into the weekend. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up.